orthomarketing.com. 360-degree digital marketing solutions for your practice.
Hello everybody in podcast land. This is Dean Steinman from Ortho Marketing, and we are back with another podcast for you. Hope everybody is happy and healthy in this crazy world we're in. It is middle of October 2021. If you're in a part of the world where leaves are changing, hopefully it's making you smile. Speaking of making you smile, I'm very, very happy, excited to have Allison Cousier back with us today to talk about Instagram and marketing your practice and to get things started. This is an ongoing seminar and course that we're putting out there for you to take the practice to the next level, to up your game, to be relevant in the community. And if you want to listen to anybody, it's time to listen up to Allison because she's great. She gets incredible results. Her clients are doing phenomenal. I'm very happy to have a lot of our Ortho marketing clients join up board, and we're here to talk about today. As I said, I think this is part 2 or 3 of our ongoing program here. So, Allison, how are you today?
I'm well, thank you. How are you? I'm so happy to be back talking about one of my favorite topics. So thanks so much for having me back on.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm happy that you're joining us here. So we're going to kind of jump right into it again. So, getting a practice started, getting people on board, obviously, from my side, it's a big challenge at Ortho Marketing to get practices to give us content. So let's talk a little bit about when you meet with somebody, what are the 2 biggest hurdles that you find from them in order to even get the ball rolling and to start giving you generated content? Because as we mentioned, if you don't, practice is just not giving you unique stuff and making it authentic, your Q level goes down the roof. And so so what are the 2 biggest issues that practices are finding right now to start off?
I would say one of the basic issues or one of the most common issues is the practices don't really know what content to take. And when they get into their practice and their busy schedule, and we're saying take content, for them, sometimes it's hard to think about what specifically do we need to be taking, to make this faster, easier, and just a little bit more streamlined. So I would say knowing what content to take is one of the biggest problems. Most of the time we overthink it and we get way too clinical. We get way too in our heads about what kind of content we need to make. It can be very, very simple. And then the second thing I get sometimes is shyness, is just not really feeling comfortable getting on camera, not really feeling comfortable being in front of the camera with the team's not sure what they should be doing, what poses they should be doing. And so I would say comfortability and really knowing what content to take and then kind of how to take it are the main problems that I see right off the bat.
It's funny, practices like doctors I don't want to go out on TikTok, I don't want to do dances, stuff like that. They're very, buttoned up as far as the way they want to position themselves out there. And it's very difficult to, teach an old dog new tricks or teach a young dog old tricks even. But you have to get out there. Social media is so important for your practice and this helps build out your brand. So if you could give somebody a tip today on how to overcome those 2 big objections that you just mentioned that helps them get over the hurdle, what would the first one be as far as just the kind of content to take? Because take one step back, Doc. People don't want to look inside of the mouth. You do, okay? And before and afters are important, but that's not the only thing you should be taking pictures of. So what's the first way to overcome the first hurdle of what to take?
Yes, I love this question because this is something that I do anytime I go into a practice or start working with a practice. And when they're telling me, I don't know what content to take, I'm like, okay, cool. We're going to take 2 minutes. I'm going to time you. And as a team, let's think of the questions that you get asked most often by your patients, by your parents, by anyone in the community. And let's write a list of those questions in 2 minutes. And we, in 2 minutes, can fill an entire page of questions that people ask. And I'm like, great, now that's your content to create. So we know it's relevant because people are already asking these questions and they don't know them. And sometimes the questions are really, really simple. Do aligners hurt? Or do I need to wear them all the time? And we get into our heads a little bit because we're working in the practice day in and day out that we forget that there is such beginners in our practice when it comes to knowledge around orthodontics. And so take 2 minutes, Think of the questions that your parents, your patients, anybody in the community asks you most often, and just write a list. And that will be a list of really relevant content that people are already asking you. And then your content that you'll take will just be educating your patients on the answers to those questions.
And what is the way to actually do that? Is it video based? Is it picture based? What do you suggest they do as far as once they get the answers to those questions, what to put up?
So I love video because we know that that is the most consumed content on the internet, and year over year it just keeps getting more and more popular. And so video is really important, but I would say for Instagram specifically is having a mixture of content. And so you want to have like the very simple, easily digestible kind of infographic, something that's kind of shouting at you, giving you a very pointed message, and then videos to kind of like nurture your audience, help them get to know you, hear your tone of voice, help them trust you. And then like photos are great. I would say just staying away from any like really generic basic content. Try to make it personalized with everything that you do and just show your practice's spirit, your practice's energy, your practice's kind of like personality through your posts. So videos and photos are amazing. I would say try to take more videos because typically people kind of get hung up on video content.
And now, say somebody is just not comfortable getting in front of the computer or front of the phone and doing a video, and how do we overcome that? Because you said they don't want to get out there, they don't want to do the TikTok, they don't want to do the dance. All right, you don't have to do that, but obviously you as part of a community, your face is important. But what if somebody just doesn't feel comfortable getting in front of the camera?
Yeah.
What happens?
Like if you're listening to this and you're like, I really don't feel comfortable in front of the camera, I want you to know that that's really normal. We have this tendency to like look at ourselves on camera. It's almost like the first time you hear your voice on the phone, you're like, oh, that sounds so weird. But you have to know that you are going to be the most critical person out of anybody on the internet. Like you will criticize yourself the most. So just know that it's normal to feel a bit uncomfortable. And no one is like criticizing the way you look, the way you sound more than you are. So just know that and feel a little bit comfort in that. The second thing I would say is we kind of can take this approach on it that people are, looking at it in a certain way, but like we have to remember that how we're doing this is we're just providing value to our patients. We sit down and talk to our patients every single day as healthcare providers, as dental assistants, treatment coordinators. We sit and we talk to our patients all day long as educators. And so on the social media platform, we're providing value and authenticity. The best way to do that is talking to the camera. So what I like to say is just like imagine your favorite patient is behind the camera and you're just trying to help them, because it's less about you and more about the patients that you're trying to educate and help. And so when you can kind of make it not about you, it becomes really, really easy.
I mention that all the time. There's 5 letters that since day one when social media came out, I mentioned there's 5 letters. It's my favorite radio station, WIIFM. What's in it for me? But not you, doc, from the other side, from the patient standpoint. So nobody wants to hear how great you are. You want to talk to them so they understand it. And what's the benefit of them watching the video or them seeing it, not you saying it? So if it also take a step back, and if you are, when you do put the information out and you answer these questions, not from your side, but from their side, what's the benefit of them doing it? And then, one more tip: how do you get things shared? Obviously you put stuff out there, but nothing worse than putting a post up and seeing no comments or shares or likes. So what would you suggest to do from there? How do you even get people to even follow the orthodontist on Instagram? How do we even do that?
Absolutely. And so I want to just quickly touch on one thing that you said, because it is like the most, like this is the question or the statement or the kind of objection that I get the most from doctors. And I think it's important that we mention something about it, because when doctors are like, I don't want to go out there and do these dancey things, I don't want to be cheesy, I don't want to be salesy. What I need doctors to know is that you do not have to be effective on social media. In fact, you can show up exactly as you are, and all you have to do is provide value. Value can be entertainment or it can be education. And so you can entertain by dancing and doing these silly things, or you can educate. Both of those are providing value and both of them will be effective. And so whoever you are, however your personality is, know that you don't have to be one way on Instagram. You can be your true authentic self. So I think that's important that they know that, because I think that's one of the biggest reservations is like, I don't want to, be this certain person on Instagram. Be yourself, and that will be more than effective.
True. People also you don't need all the bells and whistles also, guys. You don't need to go through a post-production and have all these things going on. Authentic is real. It's better. People could see through it. The more that you worry about, the lighting and the colors and making all the bells and whistles, the more people will see through that and push you down. Authentic is so important to do, and to realize that, see the forest through the trees. Less is more. Okay. Don't talk for minutes or hours. Just get to the point quick, and you'll see results on it there. And be part of the. Another thing is, Alison just said is, tips are so important. Education, information is so important. You're part of the community. You want to just be able to be looked at as an expert. And if somebody has any questions or thoughts about, being, coming to an orthodontist or dental practice, they want to come to you because you're the expert. You're putting this information out there that's educating people, and also make them smile. Remember, once I've said this many times, you're in the smile business. So your job is to make people smile, and by doing so, just make it fun. You don't have to talk for minutes on minutes and minutes. You could get something said in 20, 30 seconds as a certain tip or a certain history or something about it, and it could potentially get out there and get viral. So, and then lastly, how do you even get your patients to even know you're on social media and to follow you?
Yes. So I always go through like a process when we start to really ramp up your social media presence. One is send an email out to your patients and let them know, hey, we are going to be posting education, information, giveaways on our Instagram platform. So make sure that you're following us. So send it to your email list first. Make it easy for them to click and follow. You don't want to just put your handle and like literally put a button there, get them to click on the button and follow you. The other thing that you can do is put up a QR code in your practice so that when people are checking out at the front desk, you can say, hey, did you know that we're actually on Instagram? We post a lot of information on here. We want you to follow us. We'll follow you back. Click this, like just open up this QR code. We all know how to use these things now in this COVID era, and follow our page. And then once you start to get like that organic outreach, then start to post giveaways and start to do fun things for your patients to kind of be motivated. The other thing I would say is get video testimonials of your patients in practice. Ask to tag them, because most of the time when you create a video testimonial that really is about the patient, like we're like, we really loved working with you. You're an amazing patient. We'd love to kind of feature you on our page. And you can do that for them. They will share it on their page, which their entire family, friends, coworkers will be able to see. And so I like to say that Instagram really is just a digital referral system, because people will see the social proof of you taking great care of your patients and having happy patients. And the more you can get them out there into the community, the more people will be able to kind of connect with you and potentially work with you.
What's the best way to get somebody to give you a video testimonial and to help you out? What's the best way to do so?
I would say one, make it really easy for them. Don't ask them to like film the video at home and send it to you. Like they're not going to do it when they leave your practice. And so I would say, hey, would you be okay if we were to take this video testimonial today? Again, make it about them and film it after they get their braces or their Invisalign off. Because sometimes I have my practices ask patients like at the beginning, like, hey, can we take this video and post it on your before and after? And at the beginning of their journey, they're a little bit more apprehensive. They might be a little bit nervous. So wait till they're at the end of treatment and be like, we loved working with you. We would love to feature you on our page. How does that sound to you? Because it makes them feel special. It elevates them to this higher level. And more often than not, they're going to do it for you because they've had an amazing experience at the end of their treatment.
Exactly. So you have to ask, guys. It's real important. If you don't ask, you're not going to get. I mentioned this many, many times in other podcasts. Have this part of your internal marketing strategy. You have a captive audience for 10, 15 minutes every time somebody's there. Ask them to follow you on social media. Ask them for a review. Ask them for referrals. You got it. You have to, you need an internal marketing program in place. It's so important to have that there. So this is, Alison, this is so great. Thank you so much for these bit tips here. Once again, if somebody wants to learn more about you or be able to have you come into their office to, talk a little bit about how you can help them, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
It would be to go to Instagram, of course, Your Clear Aligner Coach. We also have a new Instagram page that we're just giving tons of tips, tons of strategies, and it's called Clearly IG. So Clearly IG, Clearly Instagram. So you can absolutely go there to learn more, or you can go to my website, www.yourclearalignercoach.com.
Allison puts out great information, guys, great stuff. We use her for a lot of our clients, and she's incredible, it's a wealth of information. And if you're just spinning in the mud, you must reach out. It's certainly worth it there. So, Allison, thanks so much for joining us. Again, we look forward to our next information there. Everybody in podcast land, thanks so much for watching. I'd love to hear some feedback. If you have any questions, and tell us some about your great Instagram moments. What makes you smile? What are some of the best posts that you put up? We'd love to hear back from everybody, and share things with the community. It's important to do so out there. So everybody out there, thanks so much for listening and watching. Be safe and happy smiles.
Orthomarketing.com. 360-degree digital marketing solutions for your practice.